What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Welcome to your latest Manchester United takeover news, because it ain't transfer news, and really there's not much news going on at Man United other than the takeover. That's what it's about. There was concerns at Sheikh Jassim and the Qatar situation that they wasn't going to put in a second bid. Where is it? Why hasn't it come in yet? So Jim Ratcliffe's second bid had been submitted. And then we had, I keep forgetting his name, not being rude, Thomas, I can't remember his last name. The Finnish businessman who basically has confirmed he's submitted extra bids and stuff like that. He's been doing a lot of interviews, telling everyone what he wants to do. But there's been nothing from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, from Sheikh Jassim. No second bid until now.
Yes, indeed, until now. Again, it was a funny one because last night it was, they're worse than me, Flex. It's getting very quiet. All's gone quiet on the Qatari front, and it's not that quiet. It's loud this morning because a bid has indeed gone in from Mike Keegan. He says, and pretty much everyone said the exact same thing, by the way. Sheikh Jassim's bid for Manchester United is in, submitted overnight, which is exactly what Zilliacus said. Sheikh Jassim's new bid for Manchester United has been submitted. Went in overnight. A bit more detail on this comes from Ben Jacobs, who says Sheikh Jassim's second offer for Manchester United was submitted overnight. It's improved and described by insiders as highly competitive. Still unclear if there will be another bidding stage or a preferred group chosen. All depends on the Glazers' feedback. Simon Stone kind of expanded on this a little bit, saying that Sheikh Jassim's camp remain confident and believe this bid is the best one for Manchester United and the local community. Now, a lot of people you watching, you'll be saying, Owen, Flex, how much? How much? There was an article yesterday, wasn't there, Flex, I think from Sportico, that said it was going to be like 6 billion or in the vicinity, in the, around 6 billion pounds, $7.2 billion, something like that. As of this morning, we haven't got that kind of information put out there that I've seen at the time of recording this. Kave did sort of expand on this a little bit, saying that, just great sheet, Sheikh Jassim's improved second bid for Manchester United was described as highly competitive and will remove all debt from the club. The Glazers want at least 6 billion. Qatar bid is also said to be considered and rational. Highest first round bids were around 4.5 billion pounds. So again, no real confirmation on how much. They're just saying it's highly competitive, Flex, and rational as well. And it makes me wonder, why are rational bids going in to people who are not very rational in the first place, because they want north of 6 billion pounds for Manchester United?
It's mental. I bugged out a little bit there. Hopefully, I don't know, you carried on like I was still there, so maybe you didn't see it, or you was just
I did not see it.
Wow.
Whenever I'm reading, I don't see what you're doing. So before when you had to take the phone call, I just came back and you weren't there. This happens to me quite often.
I apologize. I'm back now, so hopefully that's fine. Yeah, you will never know. However, it isn't. Yeah, we had to wait for this to happen. It was getting a little bit all gone quiet in Qatar, and then I saw the bit about someone said process will carry on with or without them. You're getting loads of different little lines, and you're like, Sheikh Jassim hasn't come this far just to not be at the table for this second part, has he? Like, maybe he has.
Were you worried? Were you worried when you saw that last night?
A little bit twitchy, man. A little bit like, oh, okay. 9 p.m. deadline's gone. The second deadline. It was supposed to be. It's supposed to be Wednesday, weren't it? And it didn't happen. Yeah. Then it got made for Friday.
This is some serious coursework extended going on it.
100%. And I'm like, okay, so Jim's has gone in. Like I said, the Finnish businessman, his bid's gone in, and I was like, it is a bit weird. It is a bit weird, especially with how strong everyone, and I say everyone, these same journalists who've been feeding us all the stuff we've been saying keeps doing this. To be fair, they were adamant from the first deadline of Wednesday. Sheikh Jassim is going to bid a world record fee for a football club. Didn't come on Wednesday. Then Friday comes 9, and actually the Friday 9 p.m. Like, this is after that. This is this morning. This morning we've got the news that it went in late last night. So what I'm saying is this, this is how you got to look at these deadlines, because we don't know, and these journalists don't know the real timelines of exactly when things are happening. Was the bid submitted way earlier than we knew? How serious is this even? Is this deadline? How even serious is it? We're still hearing the stuff about these guys never even asked for an extension.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't even want an extension. What? It's crazy.
That was the thing with it as well, is last night I saw Carve talking on Sky Sports, and it's not a dig at Carve. I think it just goes to show up, that no one really knows, like you said, these deadlines, because he was going, they haven't submitted a bid yet. It's gone cold. It's not a hard deadline, though. It's a soft deadline. And when they got that extension, they weren't given a new deadline. It's gone.
Exactly.
But I've been told that the bid's definitely going to come in. You go, well, that's kind of all the bases covered there. And at the same time, they also said the part where, well, the process is going to continue with or without them. But then on the other hand, they said, but let's be honest, they could come in with a really big bid. It doesn't matter when it comes in, because if it meets the asking price, they're going to get it. So,
but then it goes that, which is what's happening now, is we still don't know the exact number of this bid. We don't know. Like, we've got ballpark regions, but we still don't know if it is the 6 billion that the Glazer asked for. And even saying that the Glazers are asking for 6 billion, we're seeing the reports claiming that actually they want north of that. They want north of 6 billion, which is what we were talking about yesterday. Sorry, guys, we have just gone straight into the video. Excuse my manners. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I think you could tell how kind of apprehensive we were getting to think that maybe one of the major, game players, one of the major bidders, was potentially going to drop out of this race, and we've just had it confirmed this morning. Well, okay. I was going to be
honest. Even last night, I was going, like, to your point, I was going, there's no way. You don't go
until it's in, it ain't in.
I know. That's true. And Carve's just tweeted in the last couple of seconds as well, saying Sheikh Jassim new improved bid was delayed because of work which had to be done quickly analysing mountains of data. Apart from requests for extension, there was no communication until the bid went in overnight. Qataris always insisted they would bid, and there was no hard deadline. So essentially, what he's saying,
they didn't have this deadline to adhere to.
It doesn't exist. That deadline doesn't exist.
But that's crazy. You can't. I'm sorry. Someone's taking the piss out of all of us. You don't get to say, and I'm not blaming this on Carve. This is, we spoke about this, about clearly the line and the wording seems to be the same of the initial drop. Where it's like a sneaker raffle. On the initial drop, everyone says the same thing, which means it's come from the same source. It's very careful wording, very limited context, very limited information. Just Sheikh Jassim bid has gone in overnight. It's arrived. It's in. That's it. Overnight. It's in. That's it. That's all it was. And now, I think Simon Stone said that, Laurie Whitwell, Mike Keegan, Carve said it after Mike Keegan. Ben Jacobs then comes in, similar line. And then they go digging, I think, maybe to other sources, or maybe that same source from the 9-2 PR firm or whoever it is in that conglomerate starts giving them slightly, different messages, or they dig into their resources, these journalists, and get different parts based off of what the original line is. But we don't get to be told, but we do get to be told this, because this is what happened. But we literally don't get to be told, oh, there's this deadline of Wednesday 9 p.m. has to be in there. Bid's got to be in. No one does it. Where's all the bids? So there's no Sir Jim Ratcliffe. There's no Qatar. All right, so no one wants to buy the club then. There's that strict. No one. Oh, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's people, they asked for an extension, but then Sir Jake Jassim, I keep saying that. Sheikh Jassim got wind of that and went, oh, well, I'll tell you what, they've asked for an extension. No point putting my bid in yet. May as well have a look, see what they do. We'll go and fine-tune some data. New deadline, Friday, 9 p.m. Right. No, so Jim Ratcliffe's in next day. Was it Thursday? His one in. Nice, fine. He's in. Extended to 9 p.m. Right, Sheikh Jassim should be in by then. 9 p.m. comes Friday. Where's he gone? Nothing there. Then he puts his bid in, and now we're saying on Saturday morning, soft deadline. It's not really it's fine. They didn't really have to even do it by then. What is it? Which one is it?
And it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter because, again, if you meet the asking price, they don't care. Oh, it was a bit late, but they gave us 6 billion, so we're happy. It doesn't matter. And I think what they're doing here, and like you said, they get the bit of information from the respective camps, whether it's Sheikh Jassim, whether it's Ineos. So, and it's kind of the same, because it was the same when the Ineos bid went in. They just went Ineos bid in, submitted. Yeah. And everyone said that. So clearly Ineos
could be from Man United.
Ineos send a thing out saying, we've submitted it. And they go, okay, they've submitted it. We're not going to get that much more information from them. Let's call up people that we know from Rain or from Manchester United. And then they say, well, this is the first thing we've heard from Qatar since the extension thing. And realistically, why shouldn't it be? you know, because their only communication with you is,
yeah, you ain't got to talk how you are each day.
When do I have to submit my bids by? How much are you really looking for? And again, is that a hard deadline or a soft deadline? If they go soft deadline, they go, we'll get back to you. You know, that's it. Also,
business,
as well, this second round, they've got access to more information than they had previously. Remember that first round with that really, really soft, you know, the paragraph bids and all that kind of stuff. They had access to the data room, which wasn't full access to everything financial at Manchester United. It was just a select amount of data. They made their bids and their proposals based off that. The second round, when they had those meetings at Old Trafford and Carrington, they got presentations. They got more access to more detailed financial records for United. Maybe it's, I mean, me and you are hardly accountants here, but I would think, you know, getting that kind of information and then saying, right, make a bid in a week's time, you go, well, it's going to take a while to get that kind of, get through that information. And when you're told, again, about that sort of Wednesday, 9 o'clock, is that really hard and fast? Again, no, you go, okay, we'll get back to you. We've got a bit more to do, you know. We want to make this bid as best as we possibly can. I mean, I think the reason, maybe the frustration where it comes from is realistically, all of that financial information, I understand from, you know, this is a multi-billion-pound transaction if it were to go through, and you have to do your due diligence, you have to. But at the same time, it's almost irrelevant because, you know, financial information and statistics and data be damned, the Glazers' price is irrespective of all of that.
It's their price, yeah.
Yes, that's
they valued it at, north of $6 billion. Well, going into that, because now all bids are... Well, actually, before we go into the state of play of saying who's arrived at the other side of this bidding to go into phase 3, let's say, you know, I know people are saying don't talk about him, etc., but it is important to just to say, to keep everything fair, even though we might have not thought that Thomas Zilliacus's bid wasn't serious, and there was rumors in the camp of or in the media saying that no one's taken his bid seriously, etc. We do have to, in the interest of reporting everything equally, we have to say he has made it through to the third round, and he has submitted a second bid this morning.
Well, he hasn't made it through to the third round. He submitted a bid in the second round, hasn't he? Whether he gets through.
Yeah, but then I know, like, he's new to the party, but technically, I know, like, the likeliness is we know that Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe have going to go through to the third round because they've been the biggest bidders and they want all of it. But he's at the same stage as them as it stands. Like,
at the moment, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds crazy, but he is at the same stage as them. He was on he's done some interviews, and one of the things he was saying in his statement is that actually, after mocking the Qataris and saying no football club should be run by oligarchs and sheikhs and stuff, he actually tried to team up with them and offered to team up with them and Sir Jim Ratcliffe to say, listen, I know I just cussed you in my manifesto. Don't worry about that. Do you want to join up? Do you want to all join forces? He said, I didn't hear from them. Okay, well, that's probably why. Didn't hear from them. And he has then submitted an improved bid, which again is probably the half without the fans buying the other half yet. I don't know. We don't know the ins and outs of that, but it is important to say that he has done that, and he has submitted an improved bid, an increased bid to buy Manchester United. And again, I just found it very interesting to hear. Jaw dropped. I was like, "You did what?" You know, I just couldn't believe it after the way he kind of slated, you know, state-owned, you know, ownership and stuff like that. Which again, a lot of people are against. That's fine. But when you're a bidder and you go publicly against other bidders, and then you say, "But I want to be on your team. Or do you want to join mine?" What is it? Yeah. Do you want the fans to buy half of it, or do you want a conglomerate with the rival bidders? It just sounds like he's just trying to stir stuff up. Personally,
you can't say, you know, the problem is football nowadays is it's run by, you know, state-owned football clubs and oligarchs and all that kind of stuff. That's unacceptable unless I'm part of it, basically. You know what I mean? How are they the devil one day and then the next day they're great? You know, if they're in business with you.
Yeah, you know, because they won't be oil thing anymore. They won't. You know what I mean?
It's unacceptable to have state-owned football clubs and oligarchs running football clubs into the ground. A great club like Manchester United. Do you want to go in a joint venture? Because I'm interested. You'd be like, what? As pitches go, you'd be like, wait a minute. And also, as well, like Sir Jim or or first of all, Sheikh Jassim, they're never going to answer his phone call because, again, they don't need the money. Their cash can keep going up higher and higher. Even Sir Jim, Ineos, if they realize we might need a little bit more, they're not going to answer the phone to him, are they? Because they've got options. Elliot said it themselves. And Elliot aren't going out talking about apps and voting and going, we can buy Manchester United as long as the fans give us about £2.5 billion. You'd be like, sorry?
Yeah.
That
100%.
just... It just doesn't like, and again, you have to be fair. And I'm not against.
We do.
The first time that this bid came out, I said I'm not against the sentiment of it, the ideology of it. It's great, fans involved in key decisions. But there's ideology, there's actual, how are you going to execute it? And there's reality as well. And certainly, I don't want Manchester United to be the guinea pig for this kind of thing,
It's ridiculous.
And also as well, look, again, if you went to the Glazers and you said, look, and he says he improved his bid. I think he said initially it was going to be 3 or something like that, right? Imagine he goes in, he goes, look, I've got 3.5 billion. They'll go, that's way below. And where's the rest of it going to come from? They go, the fans. You go, okay. You got that now? They'll go, eventually. I mean, how long is it going to take you? And also as well, how long are you suggesting that it's going to take for you to hit the numbers required for you to get to £2 billion, £3 billion? Because remember, these sort of streaming or apps, they're lost leaders for years. Twitter didn't turn a profit for like a decade or something like that. We'll get the rest of the money to you in about 10 years' time. The Glazer like, piss off, we'll stay.
Yeah, 100%. No, not just stay. Just disregard him. We'll just look at the serious guys.
That's why I say
we've got money now.
That's why I say, third round, whether he'll make it through, I don't know. And again, I'm not against the ideology. And I really, and to be honest, I rate him coming out doing the interviews, and he does seem genuine. But at the same time, it just feels like
it just feels like a publicity stunt. Personally, it doesn't feel like it has the weight. Again, yeah, I do admire him coming forward. It just feels like, well, more serious, obviously, than the Michael Knighton situation. He's actually put a bid down, and he's serious about doing something. This just isn't the place for it, personally.
And what about the NDAs? That's why I don't understand.
Exactly.
As well.
And another thing is why, if you have, again, you're still trying to smear the opposition, doing everything wrong. If you did pick up the phone to them and ask them to join you and they didn't answer, why would you say that publicly? Then why? Again, to make it look like, I tried to do the best for everyone. I even tried to say, let's all come together. We've all got loads of money. We can all make this work. He's just trying to paint this picture of himself. This is completely my opinion, by the way, that obviously he can be the savior. And they're all trying to paint pictures that they can be the savior of this football club. That's the name of the game. But the way he's doing it is just in inconceivable ways in business. Like, first of all, he starts off basically slagging off what the Qataris are all about and says that has no place in a football club. Then he publicly says, I want to join them, actually, and we can all do this. So like you said there, Owen, doesn't care about, that morality side of it then. Then when they say no, well, not even say no, when they both just blank him, because it's Sir Jim Ratcliffe who's done this as well, he comes out and says, oh, well, sounds like a little playground snitch. I tried to do that, but they didn't pick up the phone to me. So I just went by myself. Like, nah, doesn't fit right for me. And look, it was a brilliant scoop by United Stand, actually, by the way, because I think he did an interview with them. With Beth, which is that massive for the channel. I think she done really well.
Yeah.
But to me, if you're serious about, and it's good for United Stand, but for him, we're all fan channels, so I'm not shitting on our own thing. Yeah. I don't think people who are buying football clubs at that level go onto the internet and
at
do
this stage. At this stage as well.
At this stage, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I think it's brilliant scoop for them, and that is what actually that's quite groundbreaking, really, to get someone like that on. But I think in the world of bidding, I don't see that.
No, and I think also as well, like I said, when we heard the Ineos bid go in earlier on in the week, and I'm sure we might hear the same for the Sheikh Jassim bid. The real finer details of it, they'll go, well, they can't be revealed because of NDAs. Whereas you've got this guy who says, I've submitted a bid, and he's doing interviews. If I'm Rain, I'd be like, what happened to the NDA? What happened to the thing where you said you weren't going to talk about it? And I understand you could argue, well, stuff gets leaked to the media anyway, so you might as well do an interview. But there's processes involved, isn't there?
Exactly, and we will see. I will see. Maybe this guy completely surprises us and something crazy happens.
But, could you imagine?
Exactly, and if it does, then we stand corrected. What's not corrected is opinion. That's my opinion, and you've obviously said your opinion. You guys make your own opinions in the
Look,
chat. That's what this
could
is
you
about.
imagine the Glazers counter offering and saying, look, we'll forget the app and all that kind of stuff, but just lower your offer a bit, 2 billion, we'll give you sort of 10%. Like
Exactly.
Dragon's Den.
Yeah,
Dragon's Den
exactly.
situation. They come in and they go, I want this amount of investment for
how much?
Yeah, for how much? And then they come back and they go, well, let's forget about that. I want this percentage and you give me all the money.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
maybe we don't know how much of a negotiating process this could really be.
We don't know. So that's why I wanted to just basically, even though I've got my own reservations about that on a personal, I still think it's important to, he's there. He's there, isn't he? And he's someone that's visible and that we know about, and he's being very vocal. He's been more vocal than all the rest, out of nowhere, which is incredible. And before we wrap up, just so what I was going to get into this sort of phase 3.
Yeah.
Now that the bids are in on the table, you've always kind of maintained you don't know what they'll do if they get 6 billion. These reported at the time of recording 5 billion-ish, still not 6 billion, and definitely still not north of 6 billion, which some are quoting. We just don't know, is it? How do you feel now that the bids have gone in and we're going into that third phase?
Well, yesterday I was out on a walk, Flex, and something popped up on my phone and it said, it was the Sportico article that said Sheikh Jassim's most recent bid is expected to be in the ballpark of £6 billion. I went, that's interesting, because the official bid hadn't gone in at that point. And I said to myself, I went, well, if it's expected to be in the ballpark of £6 billion, maybe that's why they took a little bit longer. Maybe they took a little bit longer because they were just going, well, should we just cut the shit here? Should we just put the money on the table we know they want, see what happens? Like I've said, test their resolve. Do you really want to sell? We'll give you what you want. From this morning, it would appear that that's maybe not the case. It's still not, in the ballpark of 6 billion. So my feeling is we're going to go into round 3. And especially my hope is that even if we go through this round 3, we just end up getting to the point where they just go, okay, enough's enough. They've just been dragged out. We'll get to 6 billion in the end. And again, I don't know if Ineos can get that far. Obviously, we know that Sheikh Jassim could. Whether he wants to, I don't know. But I still have this trepidation, I still have the trepidation. I'm glad all of the bids are in and there are still options on the table. But my worry is that the longer the Glazers drag this out, the more that strengthens their hand and the more that strengthens their resolve to stay, because they're like, wow, we haven't got what we wanted. And it's been 3 rounds and all these bidders, and they don't see Manchester United as we do, and minority ownership, Elliott, boom, that's just done. And we're the same as we are. And I know that's quite a negative way to look at it, but
it's the truth,
I just have that
feeling
at the pit of my stomach. I mean, and I know, again, whenever we talk about it like this, you get the comments again, you don't understand takeovers, you don't understand finance. No, we don't. but at the same time, I don't know. I just want the money to be put on the table and then just to go away. I want it to be that simple, but I know it's not. So I know I haven't answered your question. My answer is still I don't know.
No, that's the truth. None of us know. None of us can proclaim to know. We can just go off gut feelings and personal. Very similar, man. Very similar. I still am maintaining my leaning towards they will sell. I think all of the things we're seeing in between, again, whilst it's a bit concerning and a bit twitchy and a bit worrying, whilst it's happening, when you see certain things, they want north of 6 billion, happy to stay, offers to stay, and all of these things that are counter to them selling. I get it. I still just think they're really acute businessmen who you need to have the tricks in big deals. You need to have the tricks if you want to sell something on Depop. Like, you have to. It's the same. Buying and selling is the same fundamental principle. Try and get the price you can get the highest, unless you have a really amazing connection with the object you're selling or the business you're selling, and you want it to just go to really nice. Sometimes you get things like that where money isn't an issue, and you're like, you know what, I just really like you, so these trainers would be better off with someone who's going to use them. Do you know what I mean? I get that, but the Glazers ain't that. So in the case of this is about obtain the highest cent, dollar, euro, pound, yen, bar, whatever it is, currency. Get the highest, ooze every single penny out. Don't care. Tell them we'll even stay. Make them think we're not even serious. Tell them we want north of 6 billion. Put everything out there. Just let the bids keep coming. So personally, I honestly think the Glazers will sell the club in its entirety. I do. That's just my gut feeling. I don't have any sources to back it up. That's just my opinion, I think, because
It's a bit,
I just think it's going so deep into it. It's a long way back the other way now. You know, not
it's a
that they're not
bit like
capable. It's a long way
it's a
back the other way.
It's a bit like the some of those like transfer things that we do in the summer. You know, when they go deal's dead, and then in 2 weeks the players at the club.
Yeah.
You know, and then you realise you go, actually, it was just sort of
Yeah.
again
Smoke screens and posturing. But
negotiating
Owen,
and
I
that kind of
will
stuff.
kind of finish on a negative though. I will kind of, because I do believe everything I just said, even though this is
Mm.
contradictory. But this is why I can't say I'm 100% certain, because if there's ever a place that shows us that, you know, sagas get played out and
Oh my goodness
unexpected
me!
things happen,
Yeah,
it's football, isn't it? It's football,
yeah,
whether it's
yeah.
transfers,
And it's
whether
Man
it's
United.
scandal, and it's Man United, and it's the Glazers. So
Yeah.
having said all that, how do you guys feel at home? I don't, honestly, it's crazy. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. That is your latest Man United takeover news. Obviously, we're all over it. We're going to keep you guys posted. Again, we don't go live at the drop of a hat of every single thing that's spoken about, because it's just too much, and a lot of it is barely true. You just don't know where you're at. But when there are significant developments, like there has been this morning, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid obviously went in yesterday. We covered that. Sheikh Jassim's bid went in overnight. That's significant. We covered that, and obviously spoke about Thomas Zilliacus as well, still being at the table. Those are significant things. Phase 3, here we come. So we will be all over it and bring it to you guys the best way that we can. Keep supporting the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.